What is up, rockers? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms content here. We have two archer gangs right now. Before we start into the video, I want to invite you guys into this new game that I am playing. It's called Infinite Galaxy. This game has a star system, which is pretty cool because if you want to capture a star system, you would have to set a challenge time. It's kind of like if you're trying to capture a holy site, but this one, you have to set a time and challenge them. As you can see, somebody's actually booked at 17 UTC. The spacecraft is pretty amazing and pretty dope. Look at my fleet in here. That is crazy. So as you can see, me and Puddlecakes and some of the other Rise of Kingdoms players are actually playing Infinite Galaxy. And I want to let you guys know, we are really having fun in here. Now, if you want to download Infinite Galaxy, there is a link in the description. Click that link and download Infinite Galaxy. That is also going to help me out in here as a content creator. So if you want to help me out, check the game out, and maybe you'll have fun and you know, really enjoy the game. Now, if you want to see more of the Infinite Galaxy content, if you have tried it out and checked it out and you want to see some guides and tips into the videos, check out Shinchi 42 TV is my second channel, and I'll put a link in the description as well for you to check out. Anyway, let's get on with the video. We have Mr. Puddlecakes who is starting his YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. I'll put the link in the description. And guys, welcome to Puddlecakes. Hello. What's up, Archer Gang?
Not much. Excited.
That's awesome. Now, one thing that we got to mention in the beginning of the video, I know you've been challenging somebody with your beard. What can you say?
I think mine is better than Drago's.
Oh, we will probably wait for Drago's feedback. Drago's a cool guy, so we'll see what he has to say with the beard contest. If you guys don't know who Dragotin is, he is
it's all good either way. He does have a fabulous beard. I just thought it was funny that he posted and said that he had the best one.
Well, you know, it's gonna be very interesting. And Dragotin is also one of the, you know, content creators in here in Rise of Kingdoms. He's been doing it for a very long time, so you guys can make sure and also check him out as well. But today we are going to be talking about the Archer Gang, and we're talking about some new gen commander and as well as some of the old gen commander. So we're gonna talk about Cyrus the Great and Elcid. Now, I know you have been a big fan of Elcid and you've been doing some testing on your channel with Elcid as well. So let's kind of talk about how awesome this pair is going to be. And for me, it's going to be really nice because I can finally have a good use with Elcid. So first, let me get your feedback about Cyrus and Elcid.
So for me, I'm pretty excited about Cyrus. I've seen a lot of people a little iffy about him. I think another streamer even said that they're not even going to talk or even think about him, but I think his skills mesh really, really well with Elcid. Elcid adds a lot of tankiness to a commander like Cyrus, who's more like a glass cannon, and I think that the skills will mesh really well, and it kind of gives it that like wow factor in a way.
I agree, and I think it's gonna be really nice by looking at all these additional damage factor that we can see from the skill of Cyrus, because as you already know in the talent tree, right, most people are not really working into the talent tree of that latent power, which enhances additional skill damage, which I think is going to be really nice game changer on the talent tree as well. Now, you did mention about being a glass cannon and Elcid being a little bit tanky. One thing that we should also mention, and it's very unique with Elcid, is his ability to disable the active skill and normal attack for 1 second. I mean, 1 second is huge in this type of game. Imagine you know, like in that one turn, you were able to prevent that. Let's say the enemy is going to be casting their equipments, you know, their accessories, and if you can prevent that from that one turn, you save your, you know, a lot of troops.
Yeah, for sure. I actually went and made the horn a couple of weeks ago, well, a week ago now, and I plan on trying to use it with Cyrus and Elcid to see if I can get another skill cast within hopefully 7 turns. And
Oh,
if that's the case, then I should be able to get one extra turn in 30 seconds.
and
So if it's a 30-second long fight, it should be able to cast the disarm one extra time.
that's actually pretty good because yeah, you get a lot of value from that. And looking into Cyrus, he has that, that rage engine.
It's 150 rage over 3 seconds. It's 50 rage every second, but it's
Yep.
150 rage over 3 seconds.
Yep. Oh man, that's gonna be very interesting. That's a lot. Oh my god. Plus you're working with the skill tree as well, and you get that rejuvenate. That's gonna be quite deadly. One thing that I want to mention in here, and I'm sure you're gonna agree, looking into commanders that has versatility attributes, what I like about it is that all of these skill is going to be taking in an effect in open field. If you have a garrison or a conquering, they have their own specific skills that is only going to work in a specific condition. But Cyrus is going to be a really wonderful open field commander, don't you think? And what do you suggest for free to play?
No, I definitely agree, and a lot of people are talking about. So let me clear that up. So I agree 100% that Cyrus is going to be a field commander. It gives anyone the opportunity they can go Cyrus with whoever they want. They could even do Herman or Kusunoki or Elcid. And Elcid is probably the easiest and cheapest commander to get, even though it's gold keys. But now you can get the chests and stuff like that. But free to play have better access to that than like a Ramses or even a YSG or something like that. So me personally, I like the setup of Cyrus and Sid.
Mm-hmm.
And someone actually messaged me after they saw my video on it, and they're in an older kingdom, and they said that they started using it and they have been they dominated their ruins.
Oh
With it.
wow,
So I was pretty happy about that.
that's nice. And I like that one epic commander that you have mentioned is, Kosunoki. I think it's close enough to similar with some skills because of the additional damage factor with, with Elcid as well. And I think it's going to be a good synergy for, F2P that doesn't have Elcid invested. And if they have Kosunoki, it's going to be, they have additional damage factor on 2 of its skill here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we get a lot of flack. We hear a lot in today's gaming community that only pay to win can win and stuff like that. But it's actually not true. If you go look at Sunset Canyon over the last KVK, and this is KVK 1 to all the way to KVK 1600, you'll see lots of Sun Tzus. You'll see lots of. I even saw Herman and Kusunoki with YSG in our KVK in the top 100. So it's definitely possible to be very helpful on the field, sunset, anything with epic commanders.
Yeah, and especially like with Herman, you've mentioned like, oh my god, the ability to silence with the Cyrus. Oh my god, man, with that rage engine. So
that would be actually that would be pretty fun to try. I'm kind of excited now to try that too.
yeah, and this is what 20% increased defense for 30 seconds and gained 50 rage per second, and this is gonna be every time it casts a skill. Wow.
Yep. Oh. So pretty much if you cast your skill on turn 6 or 7, and you pretty much are always going to have it up. It's just going to be down for 2 seconds every 5 to 6 seconds.
Yeah. And when you pair it with Herman, you gain 100 rage. Yeah, well, you have a 10% chance, but it's crazy. it's gonna be a pretty solid silencing setup in there.
Yeah, it gives you know that free to play if they save up their legendary sculptures and they farm the gems, they can go and unlock Cyrus and they can go and just have a little bit of fun and they don't have to feel like they're left out.
I
But then
agree.
on the other side of things, you know, you're going to have the people that are going to be playing Cyrus with YSG. I think I've seen a lot of YSG setups. A lot of people talking about that.
I think it's cool that they do the Cyrus and YSG, but I feel like it's better to just keep YSG with Ramses and then stick, if you have with the epic commercial we've talked about, or if you have Elcid with Cyrus instead.
Yeah, I really like that setup too. I always find myself, especially in ruins, doing Ramses YSG and Artemisia Tamiris, and those are probably my go-tos. But watching Fleisch and Legend Ronnie and hearing them say, "Oh, there's a Ramses, target the Ramses, target the Ramses," it makes me realize that it's very difficult to play in a ruins where everyone is targeting you right away.
Yeah, it is, but you gotta just be careful as well. I mean, anybody can get targeted. So, from my experience, actually in the ruins, actually we did pretty good in our ruins. So it really depends on who you're fighting with. But I think there's a reason why they want to target that Ramses and YSG, because it's quite deadly. They it's easy. What we can say is that they fear the Archer gang. That's all it is. That's all it is. We bring them fear.
Yeah, I think a good friend of mine from a really old kingdom. Actually, you might have played with her when you were paired up with 1198. So many names taken. Soma.
Don't remember. Too many people come across.
She was the big whale with Soviet Supreme at
Yeah,
the time,
I see.
and she was really big into the whale or the Archer gang there for a while, and she even said that this is probably the best KVK setup was for archers,
I see this.
and it made us feel good.
That's gonna be nice. Now, one thing that a lot of people are gonna be trying to think about is, of course, for those low spenders and free to play, they're gonna be looking into Nebuchadnezzar as well. I've been suggesting to people, for my own recommendation, if you're gonna be fighting an open field mostly, I would say Cyrus would have more bang for the buck than going for a Nebu, because in Nebu you actually only have 3 skills working, because one of the expertise is actually a enhancement, not a new skill. Instead of Cyrus, you will have an entirely brand new skill, which you have 5 skills working in the open field. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with that, actually. Especially since you are new at our next, was it like 2 MGEs from now? We're gonna have what, the roulette. So you'll be able to pick your commanders. So it might be everyone's going for every MGE.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
So you're gonna have people that are going ham all the time. Big spenders are gonna try and win every one so they can max out every commander.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting on how the kingdom's gonna be setting it up. So also in our kingdom, I'm wondering how that's gonna be. Speaking of which, investments. So I'm gonna give my recommendation, and maybe you can give yours after I do mine. So for me, I think if you're working on the archers, I would say go for YSG, definitely. And then if I basically if I can redo everything, I would skip Edward if I'm gonna do it in a low spender way, and I would go for Ramses. And if I'm available, I can do it. I would get Tomiris. And knowing that Elcid is gonna work really well, I kind of don't regret Elcid as much now, with gonna be paired up with Cyrus. But another thing that you can do if you don't have Elcid is you use your epics, right? And then I would say definitely get Cyrus over Nebu unless you are a rally leader. But of course, I want to hear what your opinions and your thoughts and suggestions to other players.
So for me, The number one commander is definitely YSG because YSG can be paired with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go infantry, you can technically go and add a YSG with an Alex or however you want to do it. YSG is the most versatile for sure. Ramses, if you are a free to play and you do a Ramses YSG, you can hang with the strongest players in the game, hands down. You can fight them 1v1 and you can hold your own. The other commanders actually say Artemisia. Artemisia is probably right now one of my favorite commanders. I've been doing a lot of rallies with her first. Rallies with her Artemisia YSG, Artemisia Ramses, Artemisia Tamiris. And like, especially in ruins, like she's done a lot for me. And then on top of that, she's a great garrison commander still. And if you're lacking garrison commanders, you can just use her in YSG, something like that. But me personally, that's probably my top three. And then I would probably do something like Tamiris or Cyrus, but Tamiris adds that support role, which is really nice too. So once I get to play around with Cyrus, I'll probably give a better view of him, but I'm personally really, really excited about him and Nebu.
Yeah, same here. I'm excited. Oh, I think I missed one commander. How dare I do that?
Yeah, you missed Artemisia, which is funny.
No, I missed Tamiris.
No, you said Tamiris. You missed Artemisia.
Oh, I thought I said Artemisia. Oh wait.
No, you actually. It's funny because people may not know. Shinchi and I have done many tests, and one of the tests we did was a Ramses YSG versus an Artemisia, and was it Tamiris or Ramses? Artemisia Ramses.
Yeah.
And every time we did the 1v1, Artemisia Ramses actually won versus Ramses YSG. And so then I did other tests, and the Artemisia Ramses actually won every single fight in 1v1s.
Yeah, having that defense tree is pretty dope. Yeah, Tamiris is really good commander. I would definitely want, I don't regret having Tamiris, and I don't regret having Artemisia as well. I think the only one that I kind of wish I could remove is probably Edward. I don't know why, but it is. It's just the skill takes too long. I mean, I know it hits hard, but the amount of time that it takes too long to hit the skill, I pretty much every time I go into the field, man, I get targeted too and just die quicker. I mean,
yeah, it's an unfortunate scenario because they kind of made Edward a one-trick pony. It's not like you can really do much of anything else with him. It's like I have seen some people doing rallies with Edward Nebuchadnezzar now, though, so I would like to see that more.
Yeah,
I saw that beating a Zenobia in a couple of KVKs.
I'll be interested to see that, but I feel like a Ramses Nebu would do the trick as well.
Yeah, Ramses Nebuchadnezzar. There's a lot of really good reports for that. Pretty much going like 4-to-1 for ratios.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of the attack tree. I think, and what I like with Ramses, again, he's a versatile commander. We talked about versatility, type. Everything there benefits you, except of course in the garrison sense for Ramses.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone did that the arms training, and they got their top 5 with Ramses and Alex.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I actually not doing this one. I just don't want to grind for it. I know we get like 3 materials choice. Oh man, I'm just too lazy to do it now. I don't need the win because I already have the I actually just crafted it. I have the cape now, so I have all legendary. I think I'm missing. I know you have more than me, but I think I have the helm, chest, gloves, and cape. I'm missing the boots and the weapon.
Yeah, the only reason I'm more than you though is because the first Esmeralda event, I ended up getting what, like 80 legendary material choice chests.
Oh
I
wow.
was on a roll. Like I got like triple stacks over and over and over. So that's legitimately the only reason I have full a full legendary set.
Yeah, that's really lucky. I still have to break down. Well, I do also have my what is that called? My infantry as well. I have 2 legendary in the infantry. I guess that would have probably if I never crafted that. But I don't regret it because I have my internal knight as a crit.
Yeah, the other thing though too that really helps out archers is equipment. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's something that is really lacks on because archers need that defense and health. And if you don't have the equipment, you'll just see them melt. And
Oh yeah.
I show that in a recent video of how Herman can actually be viable versus your like a Guan Alex just from equipment.
Oh yeah. Make sure you guys check it out. Go to Puddle's channel. It'll be on the link in the description, and check that video out. It's gonna be very interesting. You can see him there, whooping my bum bum on that one, so you guys can see. If you want to see me lose, there we go. There's there.
It's mostly an entertaining video because I still can't believe how close the first fight was, only because we forgot skins.
Oh yeah, we got the skin, and I think we kind of catered the KVK tech with the equipment, so it should have been a little bit okay. Yeah, so besides that, let's kind of wrap things up in here. And any closing remarks for players who are, getting into the archer gang, and what would be your final basically advice to them, and how can they enjoy, because a lot of people don't like archer gang. I've always been playing archers, and we always get a lot of like hates on archers, and a lot of people saying that it's weak, it's not good, you die quick. I think you gotta play. For me, all I can say is that you gotta play smart with archers. You can't just go into the front lines. But we want to hear from you as well.
No, I definitely agree. Archers have always been the red-headed stepchild, unfortunately, and you and I have pretty much stuck with them for a long time. And it seems like the longer we stuck with it, the more the more Lilith has kind of appreciated us in a way. Um, I mostly try to do stuff to show people, that archers aren't as bad as we think they are, and then to give opportunities for free to play to look at how to play archers. Because honestly, free to play players are the most active and they are the most needed players in this game.
Exactly. And if you don't got no free to play, what's gonna happen to your kingdom? Let's be honest.
And I'm not saying this because I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying this because if you look at the Korean servers, and you see how many people, and they're running around with Hermans and Fredericks and makeups that make no sense, but they're going and winning KVKs against some of the best kingdoms.
Yeah.
It just shows.
One thing I've always said in my channel for, I've said this 2 years, maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, is that numbers can win. And a lot of people have mentioned about the heroic anthem, with the tech as well. And a lot of people that probably have lost, they didn't have the numbers to fight with. Even with, I don't want to get into this, but since we talk about this, even with the high amount of tech when there is whales, but man, if you got the numbers, you're gonna make this whale pay. I mean, even as a free to play, you're not gonna have zero tech, right? You will have at least a moderate tech that will at least hurt the pay to wins. I mean, I know I got burned as well in the field when I met some free to play in there, because they were they would be like 3 or 4 free to play, and then I'll be just maybe a couple of us in there because we get trapped sometime. So you can make damage you know, even as a free to play. So I think people always try to downgrade the abilities of free to play, and which is wrong. And I always hated that when people talk about free to play like that. And I think people need to analyze.
Yeah, we zeroed a super whale massive spender this KVK, and we only had one whale on, and the rest were pretty non-spenders really that were joining rallies.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have those 15 to 20 people throwing their calves and archers and infantry in the rally for that one whale to go in and keep rallying, we would have never been able to zero that person.
Yep. And you don't need a lot of whales. You just need a few, in a decent moderate kingdom to where we are in, because we're not in an Imperium kingdom, So for us,
yeah, it's the first heroic anthem. The first KVK sucked too. I
yeah.
mean, the first one was a mess where people were working together, and the top corner kingdoms were always the corner kingdoms were always getting screwed. I mean, Lilith is always working on changing and evolving and trying to make this game better. I understand that it's not perfect and it's not the best, but man, I mean, I've spent like 10 hours a day at least for 3 years playing this game. It's definitely kept my interest.
One thing though is that they gotta make it better in the next round, because if they keep making the same mistake, then that's not a good thing, I mean, at least we have seen from KVK1 to KVK2, it's a big change, different complaints, 2 to 3 different, 3 to 4, the setups of the changes. Actually, 1 and 2 is the same, right? I forgot now.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
It's funny though, because look at how many people went from KVK4 in the old kingdoms, and they moved to a 1300 kingdom or a 1500 kingdom or a 1700 kingdom to redo KVK2 after they complained about how bad it was.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. And a lot of people, also I want to mention is a lot of people have requested for getting troops back, and they actually implemented that, and people don't look at the good things as well that happened in the heroic anthem. I think this was pretty good. I got my troops back today. I'm pretty happy. I'm gonna get closer to 100 million hopefully, and I kind of wish we got this before ARC today. But I think yeah, I mean, we're gonna wrap things up. We kind of got a little bit stalled there at the end. But yeah, I mean, for the free to play, I would give a message. It's just enjoy the game, have fun. At the end of the day, it's a video game,
But before this ends, one last thing. You actually just touched on the troops back thing, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was talking to people today, and they were talking about how the spending isn't worth it and stuff like that. But if you think about it, if you lose 1 million troops or even 2 million troops in this KVK, and you spend $100 and you get 500,000 tier 5 back, or even tier 4, the amount of resources for that is like 4 million per 2,200. So you're looking at like 100 billion resources and a year's worth of training. So that just puts into context how much money you actually saved by having heroic anthem.
Oh yeah, that's a good point to mention, but that's some of the things that we really need to look into, and touch. People usually only look at the negative side, and this is one of the positive side that we also need to consider. We have to balance it out, good and bad, right? Even though if bad outweighs the good, we need to look at some of the good stuff in the changes as well.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Besides that, I want to say thank you for giving me your time in here and sharing your thoughts about our main topic, which was Cyrus and Elcid, and how the synergy is going to be working, how it's going to be awesome, and also helping our free-to-play community as well to succeed and, of course, dominate. And I wish them to be happy and keep playing and enjoy the game.
I agree.
Awesome. All right. Later, guys.
Thanks for having me. Have a nice night.
All right.